Hello, everybody. I'm Emily Petroff, and I am the host. We are going to get started today. You are evolving with Emily, and today we're going to talk about something that I'm super passionate about, something that is really on my heart and on my mind, and that is, are you enjoying your life? I think there's been a couple of times, and if some of you kind of want to hop in and have a discussion about this, I would love to be able to open this up. I just had somebody on a few minutes ago, Danny, who was talking about, he didn't really feel like we enjoy our life. And so I love to get people's perspective on different types of topics. And so today I kind of wanted to talk to you guys about, are you enjoying your life and what does that look like? I think there have been times for me in the past when I've said, is this all there is? Like, what are we doing here? What is the purpose of this? What is the point? What are we doing? And then how are we enjoying our life? And have there been times where you feel like you really didn't enjoy your life? And were there times where you feel like, yes, I really, really enjoyed my life? And so let's see who we have a comment here. I want to not butcher your name. Adnan, if you want to hop in, I would love to have you on. And you said that it's difficult to be happy all the time. I absolutely 100% agree with you. I think it is challenging to be happy all the time. And yet at the same time, I think there are people who would say they are never happy, right? So how do you specifically, what are the things that you do that help you maintain your happiness? I know for me, it's different interests, right? I just read, I don't know if you guys have heard of this before, but the word or the personality of multi-potentialite. They're also called scanners. They're also called polymaths. I had never heard this term before yesterday. And actually, I should share a video that it's a TED Talk, and it's absolutely fascinating about personality types who float from one thing to the next to the next. So there was a woman who talked about, she's 50 years old and she's had 34 different jobs in her life. And all of them she felt extremely fulfilled by, but only for a short period of time. And traditionally, I think our society looks at that as somebody who's not successful, who can't stick with something. And I have had lots of different types of experiences in my life. And I think that when I read or when I watched the TED Talk about the multi-potentialite, I was like, oh my gosh, this is me. I cried, and it was something that was really, really interesting to me and something that I had never really considered before. So it's almost like looking in the mirror for the first time in a totally different way and really accepting yourself. And so I think it really puts a twist on what I was going to talk about today, because as we talk about, what are you really enjoying your life and how do you create happiness? When there is, when society pressures us to feel a certain way about one thing or another, I think that it can get, I think that makes it easy for us to be depressed or to feel sad or to, have just different experiences that maybe aren't fulfilling or that help us not to be fulfilling. So let's see, we got somebody that wants to hop in here. Hamza?
Yeah.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Your name?
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I think that you are the first one who was very good.
Say it one more time, my dear. I couldn't hear you.
Hamza.
Okay. So Hamza, how are you enjoying your life?
Actually, I'm not.
You're not enjoying your life. So tell me a little bit about what do you feel like contributes to enjoying your life or not enjoying your life?
I don't know how to express because I have so many problems. Like, that you fall in love with your best friend. You know how is that?
Okay.
And you can't tell him the truth.
Okay.
This is what happened to me.
Okay.
And I grew up with a young age, so my brain, it's not from my age.
Okay. And so
I hope can you help me?
That has been a challenge for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Good morning or good afternoon, Scott. Where are you at?
Me?
Hamza, hold on just one second. Scott joined us.
Okay.
And I just wanted to welcome Scott. Scott, how are you today? I am fantastic.
Absolutely
so we're sort of, unwrapping this question. Are you enjoying your life? And what do people do to enjoy their life? And, happiness and all of the stuff that's wrapped up in that. And so what is your take on that, my dear?
Well, are
we
you
do.
sure you
This
have
is
time?
what we're doing here, right? I think that it is a very big question, right?
Yeah.
And there's so many different perspectives and so many different takes on it.
Yeah.
But I'm really fascinated by what, how people take that and how it kind of ebbs and flows at different points in our life. But I would love to hear your perspective.
Yeah, well, life is totally up to the person that is living it. And a lot of times we want to put I don't know, we want to blame people, places, and things, or we want to, when our talk is talking, we use a lot of he, they, them, it, she, and not I. And we go through life not realizing that our today is simply a residual of yesterday's thoughts, actions, and words. And as a man thinks in his life, so goes it. And, I meet people all the time that are just wondering why they are where they are. And then you listen to their talk, and out of the abundance of their heart, their mouth speaks. And people don't realize that words are very powerful. So whatever you are speaking, that is what life is going to bring you. I'm not one to really necessarily believe in universalism or the humanistic, metaphysic, quantum physics type stuff. But I do believe that that we are creating universe, the universe. It means one word, one verse word. And we are creating the very universe that we're living in. We are the Michelangelos of our very painting, and our mouth is the paintbrush. So if you don't like what life has brought you, start painting a
I
different
love
picture
that.
by what you speak.
I would agree with you. Our words are so powerful, right? I'm not going to be able to remember exactly, but the two most powerful words that we can speak are "I am," right? And what does that look like for each of us? So, Hamza, what do you have that you want to share in regard to what Scott just said?
What? I didn't hear you, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Did you hear what Scott was just saying about the power of words and how we're creating our reality based on the words that are coming out of our mouth and what that looks like?
Yeah, I was listening.
So do you have, does that sort of speak to you in any way? What comes up for you when you listen to him say that?
I don't know, but I don't feel nothing because I don't know if there is a problem in me because I feel sad every day, every time, every single day. I'm just feel sadness.
And is it because of this experience that you had with the person that your best friend that you fell in love with?
No, I don't know why. I'm just feel sadness. This is the result.
Okay. Yes.
Can I chime in, Emily? Hamza, something that was very crucial to what Emily just stated was two powerful words that we use are the I am. If you have a moment, take time to Google what does I am mean? Because we go through life and we state things such as I am mad, I am depressed, I am lonely, I am frustrated, and we are taking ownership into our spirit of somebody that we are not. The I am is the spiritual essence, the very core, and even Google states this. It's the very core of who you were created to be. And so when you go through life and you're talking about I am mad or frustrated, you are taking on an ownership, and it is devaluing the very core of who you are created or made or desiring to be. So I guess playing off of her words, you've got to be mindful, to be real mindful of what you are taking ownership of and what you are stating. Like, when is the last time that you've actually stated, I am beautifully and wonderfully created. I am healthy, wealthy, and wise. I am strong. I
have no confidence.
I am powerful.
I have no confidence in myself. I don't know.
Why?
This is the problem. It's like when I hang out with my friend, I don't feel like I'm one of them. I'm sitting with them, but my spirit and my brain not with them, with someone else, and this someone else, I don't know who is it. I just feel more comfortable.
Hello, my friend.
Hamza, let me ask you this: if you did know,
okay,
if you did know, what do you think your problem would be?
I don't know. Nothing.
So you don't think you have an issue?
No.
Okay, so tell me, why do you believe your feelings are emoting in such a sense that you are devaluing
Can I stop you for?
I don't know. This is why.
Hey guys, I want to stop you for just a second. Somebody's got some background noise, and I think that what Scott is saying is really, really important. So if you can either shut off or mute whatever you've got going on in the background, otherwise I'll help you out if you can do that and then I'll be back in. Otherwise, we can't hear anything that's going on.
Okay, I'm gonna try.
Perfect. Thank you, my dear. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. So we lost him.
We just lost him.
Tell me your first name, my dear. You just hopped on.
Okay, just call me Maud.
Maud?
Yeah.
Welcome, Maud. How are you?
Oh, thank you.
Good.
Good. Well, I just want to talk with Hamza about the experience that he had with his best friend. Well, for me, I've been through this situation before, and I'd like to tell him to always choose to be himself. Being yourself is the first step that you do in a relationship, whatever you are going through, any experience. Being yourself is the main thing. Well, if you feel like you have to tell her that you love her or something, and are worried about being rejected, just do it. It's okay to be rejected. You will feel your ego. That's what you want. That's what you actually want. So do what you want. Don't be shy to do what you want.
Yeah. I think that's great advice. I think that, you know, the fear that we have holds us back from doing a lot of different things. Paul had made a couple of comments that I really want to address here. He first said, Paul, I think expectations set you up to be disappointed. And I actually would agree with you. I think that expectations have a lot to do with, you know, the way that we interact with other people and the thoughts and feelings that we have. And then he said you have to work for happiness. Some seem to have it easier. So that's an interesting. And then the last question that he said was that he would like to ask Emily and Scott why we have the need to be happy. Obviously, it feels good, but is there more to it? So I'll actually, Amar, good morning, or hello, how are you? Welcome. I'm going to let Scott actually start by answering. You can pick one or all if you kind of want to, you know, go on answering some of those questions. Those are great questions, Scott. Paul.
Yeah. Well, the first thing that I that just kind of rang true to me is even in our, you know, is it the Constitution that says we have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? Happiness is an emotion. Joy is a substantial thing. You have the ability to have substantial joy to where people, places, and things will not dictate your emotion. There's not a problem with emotions, but when they start to drive your very life, taking away from your actual substance of who you are and the strength, then I think that's where the problem is. We go through life speaking things that are and not what we desire to be. For example, when we're sick, we say, I am sick, not realizing that you have the ability to talk your way out of it. And I know it's not just positive confession and that sort of deal, but the pursuit of happiness is due to an emotion that is not an established thought that you already have. Let me give you just an example. If I were to state that you know, was a low life scum of the earth, bad at your job, you were just terrible, and I don't even know what you're doing. But if I came at you like that and it affected you, my question would be why? You must halfway believe it. Because if I turned it around and came at you and stated, you know, you're a big red apple, then you would laugh at that because you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you are not a big red apple. So you would laugh that off. But when people come against us and it messes up our psyche of what life is supposed to be, it takes us out of the reality of truly who we are, and you halfway start to believe them, and your happiness becomes a fickle roller coaster and not an established joy because of what you already know.
I absolutely love that. It's one of the things, a great example. One of the things that I talk to my clients about is how silly it would be if somebody called them a squirrel or a dog without the meaning that, sometimes those things bring in with it, right? But they would be like, no, I'm a human, right? Like, it's that ridiculous. But if they believe they're those things, or there is some kind of, they don't want to have that belief system, or I love the way that you just unwrapped that for us, because I think it's really, really important for people to recognize it really can be that simple, right? And that it's attached directly to our belief systems and the ways that we view ourselves when we look in the mirror, or the way that we that, right? So I think that's beautiful. So Amar, you haven't had a chance to speak yet. How are you, my dear?
I'm fine.
Okay. Do you have any response to some of the questions that were asked, or kind of want to unload your 2 cents on this question?
Listen to me. I'm sorry because I can't speak English very well like you. Okay?
Okay.
So I am listening to you.
Okay.
To you, Emily, and Scotland, and the only mine Otaku.
Okay. So you're just here to listen. Well, thank you so much for being here, my dear. I appreciate that very much. Okay, so go ahead, my dear. Your turn. Share your thoughts on this.
Okay. Well, it's pretty interesting what Scott said, and I definitely agree with him. But once the person accepts his flaws and accepts his mistake, I don't think that any word could ever make him sad or make him feel bad about himself. Once you know yourself, and once you accept yourself like you are, wherever you are, short, black, white, I don't know, you have problems, I don't think there is somebody who is fault. We all have flaws, we all have positive sides, we all have negative sides. So that's why we have to know ourselves better than people that do. So it's like this.
No, that's very good, because when you step in, and it goes back to stepping into who you are, I don't state that a mistake was ever made in my life. They were lessons learned. And when I'm talking to my clients, when they come at me, because faith, or what your belief is, your belief system comes from what you hear. I call it self-talk. What are you saying? Because whatever you are saying, you are hearing, and it goes in and out of the abundance of your heart, which is your mind, your will, and your emotions, your soulical realm of who you are. You start to speak, and then whatever you're hearing. Like, for example, I had a client that they were like maybe 56 years old, but yet they were talking like what they just experienced happened yesterday. When I spoke with them, it baffled me that they were 12 years old. That was 40 some years ago, but yet they're meditating on it, and it is becoming, you are a garden. Seeds are words spoken. You have the ability to cultivate the atmosphere of your mind, to actually take your mind to a whole new level and start to produce a harvest of what you desire. And what you are stating is, and I don't know, all I see is beat. Man, okay. What you are stating is so crucial to becoming and evolving and being transformed by the renewing of our mind to who we really, really are. And when you realize that, as Emily stated, are you a squirrel? No. Then why are you upset? You are a human being. And when someone else comes along and gives you their perception of their reality, that doesn't have to make it yours. And you will never have the ability to change another person's perception of reality, because it's their life, up to that moment that gave it to them.
And don't you think, Scott, I want to, Paul asked another great question. And so I know Paul's new to Blab just today, like this is his very first Blab. And so for anybody else that is new to Blab or that has not been here before, just a little bit of housekeeping. If you see these little hands here, those are props. So you can give the people that are speaking, if what they're saying resonates with you, you can kind of give them, you know, it's the props. And you can also, the little, as each person is on here, you can follow them. You can choose to, you know, connect with them on Twitter, kind of take the conversation from Blab to Twitter, from Twitter to Blab. So there's lots of different benefits of being on Blab and participating, you know, in a Blab. But Paul asked another great question, and he said, how much of happiness is chemical? Natural chemicals like serotonin we produce from the emotions, does it come down to some producing those chemicals better or more frequently? And, you know, honestly, I'm going to say I don't know the answer to that question. That is not an area that I have really delved into a whole lot. So, Scott, are you or one of you other gentlemen, do you know, is that something that you're familiar with?
No.
No, it's not something that I'm particularly familiar with when it comes to chemical. I do understand that there are chemical imbalances, but I know that we live in a world that is seed, time, harvest. Everything is seed, time, harvest. So the chemicals that are going into your body, more than likely it will be doing something to you. And I don't mean to be so graphic, but I remember when I was growing up, you know, when I was going through the puberty is what we call it, things did not start changing for me until about 16 or 17 years old. Now they're starting that process of like 10 and 11 years old. And it's due to the chemicals that are being placed into our body. So I'm not going to negate that chemicals can't influence or change us in a different way. But what I do know is the power of a spoken word. You know, I have the ability to reach your very soul, your mind, your will, and your emotions by what we speak. And we've heard that saying, sticks and stones can break my bones, but names will never hurt me. And that is a lie, because we go through life and you know, I'm speaking with, I ask, when is the last time that somebody encouraged you? When is the last time that somebody said that you really can do what you set your mind to do? And they're like, no one. But there's also other clients that are at this level, and I ask them the same question, and they're like, oh, my parents are so supportive. You know, my friends are so supportive. They help me and instruct me. And so what we are hearing really dictates the very core of who we are outside of
he was saying he wanted our opinion, so I think we were kind of giving that. And I'll kind of just go I won't even say a step farther, but just to kind of add on to what Scott just said, because I think that's very true. I think that we don't investigate the power of our mind often enough. Right? I don't know, for any of you who have ever, I love Louise Hay, and her book, You Can Heal Your Body, You Can Heal Your Life, is one thing that really from early on in my personal growth and development journey has been, oh, wow, it was an amazing eye-opener for me to read that book and to see that a lot of the things that are causing my dis-ease or my unhappiness have so much to do with the thoughts that I'm thinking, right? And how quickly and easily they're manifesting, and how it's so interesting to me that it's easy for us to believe when something negative happens, like, see, that's it. I told you that was going to happen. Like, damn it, I told you. But when something amazing happens and we manifested something amazing in our life, we don't give that the same amount of credit, right? Like, it's so interesting that we don't participate in both of those things equally. It automatically goes to the negative side. So that her book was something that kind of, as we're talking about, you know, the chemicals and the way the way that we manifest things, I think that's super, super interesting to me, right? And to kind of just further that example a little bit, when I read that book the first time. Oh, Scott has to go. Thank you so much for being here, my dear. The other thing that I think was interesting about reading that was when I learned how powerful my mind was and how powerful it was that I was creating all of these kinds of things in my life, both good, bad, and indifferent, and I took some responsibility for that. I could stop a cold like that. I could stop a neck pain. It was like every single ailment that came up for me, I was able to just quickly and easily change my thought pattern and my thought process and begin to reverse that. Now, granted, there's a whole lot of ways that we can, draw this out, but those are great, great questions. Paul, I would love for you to hop in and kind of chat about this a little bit. I also think that it's important for us to kind of talk a little bit today about the concepts that Scott was talking about is like really big in the personal growth and development field, and the mindset and how we work on ourselves. Sometimes if you're not there, it's challenging to go there or to get there. It's a pretty far leap if you're somebody who's never been introduced to any of this kind of stuff before. So I like to give people some tangible things that they can really work on to begin to start that process. A little bit. Whoops. Hi, how are you, my dear?
That's good. I cannot believe how big my eyes look with these. I see a little goldfish in here somewhere.
Thank you for asking your questions. I love that. That's fantastic. So I wanted to go back because I'm not sure that we tell me a little bit about you and what you do.
I'm a radio person in St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay.
And do a little music radio. So we play music like Taylor Swift and Katy Perry and that. So don't get too deep, but I'm a deep kind of guy. Like I don't like small talk and things like that. But I've had a lot of depression and, some substance abuse. I even wrote a book about it. And so I've always been fascinated with that. And I know you said you didn't have experience with the kind of the medical part of that brain, that question. But if my brain just doesn't produce as much serotonin or whatever those feel-good chemicals are as other people who seem to not struggle with that kind of deep, dark thinking from time to time,
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
It absolutely makes sense. And it's interesting. It's something that I think that we don't investigate enough, right? And I don't know I would say I handle more of the metaphysical piece or more of the spirituality piece around it. But I think it's really interesting because I don't think that Americans, or I think that Americans struggle with depression and lots of other things more so than a lot of other countries, especially in the eastern part of the world, right? So why would it be that, depression is so more, and maybe it's just because it's diagnosed here more. Maybe it's that there's more information. Maybe there are people there suffering, just as many people there suffering as there from those things as there are from here. But I think that there's something to it that maybe doesn't wrap up quite that nicely. And the reason why is because I have several friends who lived in America, grew up here, and went there, and specifically New Zealand, and then another person who went to Italy, France, Germany, spent a little bit of time traveling around, and both of them said, wow, we as Americans have some things really, really off. And I've never had so little and felt so wonderful. I had so much when I was in America, and I felt so awful. And so it's interesting. I think that really comes back to are we enjoying our life, right? When I sit back and think about my life on a day-to-day basis, I know that I make a contribution with my clients. I know that I'm making a difference in the life of someone. Like today, I had 2 different clients, and I know, like when I lay my head down tonight, I know that I made a difference in their life, right? But in the grand scheme of things, like, so what? Like, what is it for? right? Like what does it matter? Does it really, really matter? And I had a conversation with one of my mentors about this very thing yesterday. And he said, you have to be really careful with this question, because who's going to tell you if it matters or not, right? You get to decide. I mean, I think that's what people,
yeah, it's up to you.
That's why people go, they have a specific religion, or they go down these different roads that help them kind of navigate what that looks like. But ultimately, there's no one that's saying to you or to I right here today, like, this is what matters, so go do that, or this is what doesn't matter, don't do that, right? And so I think it can be easy for us to go down a rabbit hole that doesn't feel good, right? Or that doesn't matter. So your question, why does happiness matter, or does it really matter, is, I think, an interesting, question.
Yeah, and like, I think you're dead on with talking about other nations and folks like that. I think we have that expectation as Americans. We do need to be happy. We all need to be happy. And if we aren't, if we're not happy, there's going to be a medicine you should take. And maybe in those other countries where they might not have as much, that's not the expectation. I might be a victim to my expectations, and my country has.
Right. So Sharon actually said something very similar. She said, we have access to ample meds and substances. And I absolutely think that, it's so easy for us to say, there's a pill for that. There's a pill. There's a pill for that. And I think although sometimes we might need those things, I think that it sometimes gives people a reason not to address the core issues that are causing that, particular
quick fix. Give me a substance. Give me treating a symptom, rather than my thinking patterns might be making me unhappy, or my expectations. I know it's. I'm in that vicious cycle of, okay, exercise then, or a recovery meeting, or prayer, or this, using things almost like substances. Whereas I just feel like I wish I just had it inside automatically.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, Paul, what are some things that you guys, and anyone else that's here, if you guys want to, visit about, I would love to know some of the things that you guys do specifically to enjoy your life. So Scott or Paul, what are the things that you do now, having come back from some of that stuff, or maybe even still struggling with some of that from time to time? Do you know how you enjoy your life? Are there things that you do specifically that you really get fulfillment and enjoyment from?
I have my 2 little girls. I love time with them, and I love sports, so I do that, and I do get something from exercise. Not as much fun though as it, was exhilarating when I was abusing substances, but that doesn't happen, and that's okay. But yeah, I what makes me happy, I wish I knew more. I wish I was a little bit better at that. Yeah. Figuring it out. I know my wife would like that. She seems to take life a little easier and just enjoy it.
Okay. Good. I think that one of the things that I arrived to as I have, really wrangled with this question over the last, I think it comes up for me at different times in my life when different things shift and change. And the one thing that I really feel right now that's different for me inside of the last 5 years is that I went through a divorce about 4.5, almost 5 years ago, and I did a lot of work on myself, right? That was a great opportunity for me to really get clear about who I was and what I wanted and who I was as an individual outside of that relationship. And so now I've done that, and that my life is very fulfilling. There's lots of things that I really love. I've created my business, a business that I love investing into every single day, with my time and my energy, and financially it takes care of the things that I need. And yet there's this piece that's missing. And I think now what I arrived to the other day was real honest connection with another person, right? And that really sharing my life with somebody. And I really feel like I've gotten who I was. The reason that I got out of the marriage was to figure out who I was and the things that I needed and, you know, what was important to me. And now I'm in a space where that real authentic connection is important to me, and I really want to be able to share my life with somebody. And so I think when I sit back and think, am I really enjoying my life? There is a part of me that says, you're not. And I think it's because I'm missing that connection with another person, right? What am I doing all this for if I don't have anyone to share it with? So that's,
you know, you are giving so much to people. I mean, by doing this, which I had no idea I'd be doing this, but you're helping people, and that can fill you up. But I almost think, like, if you're asking yourself that, or spending any time on it, maybe you aren't happy. I mean, that's me. You know, I'm talking about me. Like, if you're truly happy, do you go, I'm happy? Am I happy? You know, I mean, it's kind of one of those things about, like, love. Like, I always say, am I in love? What is love? You know, and a lot of people are like, I'm just in love, you know?
Yeah.
Throwing a lot at you. I hate to say I gotta go, but you're
no. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm so glad you were here. Thank you so much. Welcome to Blab, and I hope that I followed you, and so we'll connect again.
You're my first girlfriend on Blab, even though I'm married.
Okay, perfect. Woohoo! Thanks. Have a good day, my dear. Okay, bye-bye. Well, thank you to Paul so much for being here. So for the rest of you that are here, I would love to know some of the things that you guys do on a daily basis that you're saying, can I hear you? No, my dear, I cannot hear you. Cannot hear you. And I'm not sure what your first name is, so I don't want to butcher what I think it might be. No, so the things that you guys do on a daily basis that really, really, you know, help you to live a full life, that help you to really, you know, what is it that you do to enjoy your life? And for me, I think that, you know, I have to have a variety of things going on. Hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm well. Tell me your name.
My name is Yassine.
Yassine, well, thank you so much for being here. Do you have a comment that you want to add on, you know, kind of, are you enjoying your life?
This is my first Blab. I just knew this site and I want to discover it, and I found a place here, and I want to hear and see what about you talking there. So.
Okay.
And I'm interested about relationships and social media. That's all.
Okay. Well, we are talking about the different ways that we enjoy life and sort of sharing that, brainstorming the different ways that we enjoy life. And I think one of the things for me that is really, really important is, and I was just talking to another gentleman, Paul, who was here a few moments ago, about, you know, real authentic connection with another person and how important that is to really being able to enjoy life. And so I kind of think there's, you know, not only that, but so love, right? The love is the real authentic connection that we have with other people. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a significant other, but it can be, you know, family and friends and coworkers, but also health. And then passion, right? The things that we're passionate about, I think, are things like, those things aren't in alignment. It's going to be challenging for us to really be enjoying our life, or at least from my perspective. So you have thoughts on that, my dear?
Yes, I thought that's awesome, and I will be fine and grateful to speak about the way I spend my day and how I enjoy my life. I spend my day on after I go to work as a developer in the center, and then when I go back home, I prepare myself to go to the training because I'm doing some bodybuilding here. Yes, and and sometimes I go to the coffee to have fun with my friends. That's all.
Okay. I like it. That you have a little bit of time, you know, keeping your body healthy, right? Taking care of your body, and some time with friends and family, and then at work. So what do you do for work?
I work as a developer.
As a what?
Developer.
Oh, a developer. Okay, excellent. Okay, very good, very good. And where at in the world are you?
I'm in Tunisia.
Indonesia. Okay, okay.
Not Indonesia. Tunisia. Tunisia.
Tunisia. Where? I'm not familiar.
It's on the north of Africa.
Okay, okay, okay. Well, that's very cool. I'm so glad that you're here, Vlad, with us today. And this is your first experience, you said?
Yes, that's my first experience.
Okay, very cool. Amar was going to come back in here. So we've been kind of going for about 45 minutes now, and so I won't stay on too much longer unless there's somebody else who has some more questions or some more. Somebody said, I think that to enjoy your life, you do what you want to do and be free. Absolutely. I think that's a really important piece, you know, finding that passion. And a little earlier, we were talking about multi-potentialites and how the multi-potentialite personality doesn't just find one area and stay in that. So for example, a doctor might be somebody that they knew they wanted to be a doctor from a very young age, and they became a doctor, and then they just, you know, they're a specialist in that field. And so I think that is that is one example of somebody who has found something that they're passionate about and they love it, and they, you know, spend their whole life in it. I think another example would be somebody who, you know, they're maybe a veterinarian, or I happen to not be somebody who is so, I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up. I wanted to be many, 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 many things. And so I've had many, many experiences, and I love to be able to live my life helping other people to develop their businesses and create balance in their life in many, many different ways, and to kind of answer this question, like, are you really enjoying your life, and what does that look like for you? So unless there's if anybody else has anything that you want to add, I think I'm going to wrap up and say goodbye for today until next week. And Amar, any closing words you want to give to us?
Please speak slowly.
Speak slowly. that is a challenge for me, right? Absolutely, absolutely. How about you, my dear? Any last words that you would like to say before we end today?
No, I won't.
Just I would say I'm nice to meet you, and I'm interested about your subject and topics there, because I'm trying to having my own project here in Tunisia, and so I'm interested to have some advice from you, because you look you have a great experience in life. So thank you for interesting and answer my future questions.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Well, every Wednesday at this same time, we'll be here doing the show with all kinds of different topics and just talking about the different ways that we as people can evolve, and how we can make a difference out there, and live our passion and our purpose, and do it with do it with heart, right? Be heart-centered, and find other people to have those connections with. So
yes, I appreciate.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. I'm Emily Petroff, and you have been Evolving with Emily. Have an amazing rest of your day and a great week, and I will see you next time. See you later.
Bye.